podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our quick publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms, and we have our own apps for Apple and Android. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Anfield Index Podcast of 2024. Yes, we are slacking. It's a late start for us. What are you going to do? Sue us. We are finally got the gang back together for this one. A welcome return for a stalwart, and myself and Lisa Marie are present as we have been for the last couple. So that leaves us to say welcome back to Cam. How you doing, buddy? Nice to have you back.
Thank you for having me back. Pleasure to be here. It's been a while, hasn't it?
It has.
2 months. It's been a good 2 months. So slowly getting things settled in the house now. Got all the major work done, just snagging left. So just infuriating, because you know what builders like when it comes to the very last bits. They never do it, do they? So yeah, it's great to be back. It's great to be here. It's great to. I'm looking forward to chatting loads of nonsense as per norm. Bring it on.
Well, it would be silly of us to assume we're going to change the pattern at this stage. So yes, nonsense ahoy. I did want to ask you something there in terms of a couple of things, actually. First one was, despite the domestic chaos and Bob the Builder clientele knocking around your gaff, I noticed you managed to carve out some time to do a desi over Christmas, which sounded like it was the usual carnage and crack. Was that enjoyable? How do you even manage to do that, considering things were a little bit hectic at that stage?
Yeah, it was just timing on that one. It was a little bit late to start, so I managed to find a corner to hide in. We've got like 2 living rooms, and Mum usually sits in one. Just she likes her space. She likes watching her stuff, and she goes upstairs to bed about 7:30. And I think we started recording about 8 o'clock, and it was after 10 o'clock by the time we finished up. So it was just chaos. It was fun. It's always fun, I mean, I think that was the first one we done this year, the only one we did last year. So it's good to get the 4 of us together, and it's a shame we couldn't get Enzo and Kia on as well. So it would have made it even better. But it's great crack. I know you listened to it. I remember you mentioned it in one of the pods, and for a 2-hour pod, you don't realise it's a 2-hour pod, I think, which is quite remarkable in itself, I think. So good fun. Yeah, we'll have to get. Maybe we could do one with what's the term I'm looking for here? I'm gonna say honorary desi. Maybe. Yes.
I think there may be a little bit of crossover in the works for sure. And the lad involved in the crossover, actually, a mutual friend of ours, was a guy on whose podcast I spent 3.5 hours recording very recently. Wow. If you can believe that. And that flew too, because we were talking about things that are very interesting and engaging, right up my alley. I think we went from my experiences with meeting an exorcist when I was a young lad, and him telling me stories that put my hair standing on end, to all sorts of supernatural experiences, and we got into religion, we got into the occult, we got into all sorts. It was a fantastic chat. So time does fly when you're having fun. But I actually, another thing that resonated just before I got to Lisa Marie, I got to tell you, man. You said a mouthful there. Do you ever think that you and I got really badly screwed and got into the wrong game? Because I had a guy who called around to my house just the week before Christmas, and he had done a piece of work for me in the house. Local guy, nice guy, a plumber, and he had done a job for me in the house. Putting in some taps and new shower, a few bits and pieces like that. This time last year, like it was around about sort of December time last year. And 12 months later, that guy pitched up to receive his money, which was like not a small little check. It was about $2,000. And I was thinking, what a situation to be in. I mean, I wish I was that. In that way, that is absolutely the game to be in. I mean, and listen, did nice work. It's not as if I'm complaining. I did say you're very lucky that money's still in the envelope. You know what I mean? There were several times I was looking very hungrily at that $2,000 in the envelope, going, I can think of a use for that. But anyway, yeah, I digress. We picked the wrong area. Of course, Lisa Marie is sort of tradesman adjacent, what with all your professional shenanigans. How have you been in the short time since we've done a show?
Busy. Those adjacent career things have started off 2024 with a lot going on, because what tends to happen in what I do is there's like this run up, like about a week or so before before Christmas, where it's like, how many of these, where can we draw the line? I had like 3 projects where we were finishing up the architectural drawings to be submitted, to the different state reviewers. And then it's like kind of nothing happens for about 2-ish weeks. And then like, not so much that first week after, where New Year's was kind of in the middle of it, but like this week, it's like, bam. And I've got meetings galore and everything else. So, yes, fortunately, I work adjacent, as you say, to those contractors and things. So I don't necessarily get the direct fruits of their labors, if you will. But I can wax poetic, if you will, on construction schedules and various necessary delays, if you would like for me to. But
yeah, I know. If we ever need to do 15 or 20 minutes on fire doors, I know exactly the person to talk to.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I actually sat through a meeting earlier today where they're getting ready on this one project to submit the drawings to the state. And so they had an independent third party like go through and review and, look for things that hadn't been properly coordinated or missed or whatever. And so it was an hour and a half call. And they had it divided into 15 minutes on electrical and 15 minutes on plumbing, And there were only supposed to be 10 minutes on my stuff, equipment, and food services, which would be the kitchen equipment. And so they get to it and they're like, yeah, we don't really have anything specific we need to call out on equipment. So moving on. I'm like, seriously, I've sat on this call for an hour. Which, I guess, there are still some markups that I need to look at, but apparently nothing that they felt the need to draw attention to in the call. So, and on one hand, that made me feel good. But on the other hand, I'm like, I really sat, let's be honest, the camera was off and I was doing other things while listening to what was going on. But still. Anyway, welcome, by the way, to episode 376 of the Anfield Index Podcast. I did not get
it's taken a while to come around.
It is my job. Yeah, and I don't want to be falling down on my job to call out what episode we're in. So 376.
Well, thank you for that, because I had, if you can imagine, forgotten already. Not to mention, Landmark 375 was the last one, which we did together. And I could not remember that 376 follows that, because for some reason, that's not how my brain works. And, I can relate to the whole everything happening at once, everything everywhere all at once was basically my week. I just took my Christmas break completely, whereas other people were diligently grading papers from Christmas exams. Not this fucker. No. I left all 5 sets of 30 papers, and we're not talking about little things you can tick like maths tests. When it's English, there's a lot of
aren't they?
essays, right? So you got it. Oh my God. So last night, 3:30, around about in the night, which is the day before today, which was the deadline for getting them in, which is not like me, but sense of achievement. So I've earned my little cup of tea and chat with you guys this evening. And look, there's nowhere specific that I want to take this. I thought we might take it as a sort of a nice, calm, not quite half-term, but pretty much half-term assessment of where we're at. Because if I start with you, Cam, there is no way as we set out on we adventure this season with the podcast and thinking about how it might go and what we might be talking about, I think it's fair to say that even the most optimistic of us would not have pegged the current situation, which is to be in the second leg of a semi-final of a domestic cup with a goal advantage, to be in the 4th round of the FA Cup with, I'm touching wood as I say this, a favourable draw, to be cruised through in the qualifying rounds of the European competition that we're in, and happily skipping the nonsense of the next qualifying round and waiting to see who we get in that, and to be top of the league, which is really all that matters in all of those things, we're being perfectly honest. So before we get into a little bit of maybe grousing about a few things that could be better, we should take time to acknowledge as we start 2024 that this is probably something that even the most optimistic of us had not foreseen, Cam.
No, you're right, Trev. It's actually beyond expectations. Nobody could have foresaw this in any way, that we would be in the position we're in. The beginning of the season, we were looking at the squad and we were saying, well, we've got deficiencies there. We don't have a covered right back. We're not sure about the number 6 that we brought in. We wanted a top class number 6. There were doubts about Tsimikas as the backup at back for Robbo. And those many questions. We need a left-sided centre back as well. Look at certain players now who have stepped up in that regard. Joe Gomez has been absolute revelation this season in how he's covered at right back, left back. His strongest position is obviously centre back. He played for Virgil in the title-winning season. I think we only conceded 19 goals that season. So his strengths there. Tsimikas, after a really ropey start, he stepped up. The last few games before he got injured, that freak injury. You look at Endo, what he's now was beginning to produce as the number 6, and we're thinking great that can free McAllister to go and do what he's really good at, and that will help the boys up top. And the biggest surprise for everybody has been the left-sided centre-back in Jarrod Hansa, and the way he has just effortlessly slotted in. He hasn't looked like he's out of place in any way, shape or form. And it's those players, I think, who are not being appreciated for what they've done and how they've allowed us to continue in a really positive manner and providing us that strength and depth that you so need now to be able to compete in 4 competitions and genuinely compete in 4 competition. Because let's be honest, in the league, we haven't really been setting the world alight. So I sort of asked myself, is it because the league is weaker this season, or is it because the weaker teams are actually stronger and hence they're taking more points off everybody making the league more compact, because we're actually, 8-9 points ahead of where we were last season, whereas Arsenal, I think, after all the money they've spent, they're 10 points less worse off than they were at this stage last season. So I can't figure out which way the league has gone. It's very, very strange, but whatever's happening there is definitely working in our favour. And it's enjoy it. Enjoy every game right now, because I heard somebody speaking. I think they're a bit of a dick, to be honest, at times, but he spoke really well of Liverpool this week, and that was the ex-Crystal Palace chairman, Simon Jordan. I saw a clip on Twitter, still Twitter to me, and he said, would you rather watch a Man City or would you rather watch a Liverpool? And the question, he goes, well, it's Liverpool. They just play exciting football. They play football you want to watch. They don't bore you to death with their football. As great as the Man City football is, Liverpool football is exciting. How many times have we gone behind on the game? There's that mentality. Monsters, they're back in a vengeance, and there's a freshness. Klopp 2.0 is fantastic. Klopp is reinvigorated. Nobody's complaining about Pep Linders. As half-term reports go, it's 10 out of 10, isn't it?
I've seen some complaints about Pep Linders, just so you don't feel like everything's gone completely astray. Right. We have to have some people grousing about Linders. That's the universe would be incomplete if we didn't have Linders grousers. I honestly don't know where to start with all that, because you've dropped so many little grenades there that I'd like to go back to. First thing I did notice was, and I wanted to say it because at the time I was accused of, by myself and others, I used the phrase and then other people leaned into it as if they had invented it to insult me, about the concept of Joe Gomez as left back as being a bit galaxy brain, because at that time we weren't sure what the crack was with Costas, and in his early goings I was still pining for the idea of Joe Gomez at left back. But like you said quite rightly, he did grow into the role and started to look very much the part. But since Joe's gone across there, having done a super job at right back, he's now done a super job at left back. He's just a good footballer. That's what it comes down to. And it's lovely to see that kid get a run, see the guy show his ability, his athleticism, his ability to read the games. It's great to see. The other thing that you touched on there that just struck me straight away was I saw a really interesting chart in relation to Jordan's comments. I presume it's on TalkSport that you saw the Twitter clip from. That's where he seems to have a talk show there. There was a lovely chart, Cam, which showed the comparative speed of attack across the top teams. And no prizes for guessing, the Reds are right up there at the top in terms of the speed of attack, and City are way, way down, because of course we know they have this patented walking into the net, pass you to death style, and then the explosive finish at the end. But in terms of the pace of the attack, which again, like, let's be honest, it's not that either of us is specifically backing Jordan, because he's likely to say something awful, like you said, the next day. He can be a terrible set of lads. But it's a really good point about the point you make about enjoying it, because I feel like anyone who's rocking up to Anfield now, they will have frustrations, but in some way they actually add to the moments of excitement, because in the very last game, for example, we had that frustrating first half, and then when it clicked with that deflected goal from Curtis, Jesus Christ, the place came alive. The standard football was fantastic. It was energetic, high pressure, high tempo. You can't enjoy that, I don't know what to say to you. And the fact that we're sitting where we are is interesting. I want you to contemplate one question, because I'm coming back to you with this. Sure. If you had the opportunity, and I'm only saying this because it's a real potential scenario, if you had the opportunity to wave your Kaminder magic wand, and with the dark forces of your magic to decide that Liverpool could win a Jed Houllier treble, right, domestic cups and Europa League, or the league, either or, I want you to think about it And it may be very simple for you. I feel like it's very simple for me, but it also does warrant discussion. It's an interesting one. It's an interesting one to tease out, because it's 3 titles, trophies against 1. So it is an interesting one to tease out. I want you to think about it and come back to you. And Lisa Marie, while Cam's pondering the impossible there, I wanted to just ask you as well, in terms of sort of a sum up of the things that you've found to be most engaging about the campaign so far. I mean, Cam mentioned a couple of individuals there, and we've had a lot of adversity. This is what makes it probably all the better, right? We went from seeing Dom to being the best in the league to really falling off a cliff with his form. We saw Endo starting finally to come into form, and then, as Cam said, just as we were about to see what it looks like with Alexis as an 8, Endo's gone. Alexis is injured, and now Alexis is back just as Endo has left, and it just feels like it feels like we're being robbed of the opportunity to see the perfect scenario clicking together. Various injuries as well for the likes of Jota. Andy Robbo's a big blow. The Joel Matip injury was a kick in the face. So yes, we're coping. The squad is coping very well, and it seems that Klopp, again, as Cam mentioned, is in his happy place again. He seems enlivened, less embittered, less pissed off, more ready with a smile and a quip than he had been in the previous campaign, where I think things had gotten a little bit stale. So there's been just as many sort of difficulties to endure for the team as there has been high points, but it's still an unbridled success so far in terms of results and position on table and positions in the cup. So when you take that all into balance, I mean, I'm wondering, as you review your little half-term report for Liverpool, like, what are the things that are jumping out at you, both good and bad, and who particularly is stealing the majority of your thoughts when you reflect on the first half of this campaign?
While the world whizzes by, enjoy a moment of me time with Tim Hortons' new $6 breakfast bundle. Savor a small hot or iced coffee, then add your choice of a mouth-watering hot breakfast sandwich and a crispy golden hash brown and your pick of a classic donut. Yeah. All for $6, all just for you. Make your mornings all about me time with our $6 breakfast bundle. Available at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. Price and participation vary. Terms apply.
Are you that person who has everything? The coolest merch and those must-have fan threads? Well, over at our Anfield Index shop, we've gone that extra mile when it comes to pimping up your Liverpool collection. From our popular range of bespoke design t-shirts, sweaters, hoodies and hats, to our signature edition mugs, prints and coasters, all provided with fast worldwide shipping. We have something for every red. We also stock official LFC merchandise and are licensed with the Premier League and UEFA to sell official iron-on shirt badges and sleeve patches. As a listener to this podcast, you can get 10% off everything with coupon code AIPRO10. Just head over to AnfieldIndex.shop or find us on Etsy by searching for Anfield Index.
Okay, there's a lot. You said I wasn't going to have to ponder anything, Trev. Anyway, you make me think. So yes, so many things. So first of all, it's overall, just looking at the first half of the season, if you will, is kind of an overall thing. It feels like the resilience is back. You know, that was there, definitely not there last season, but in previous seasons where, you know, we get the injuries and we would just sort of work through it until that player came back and you know, just none of that fell for whatever reason last season. So I think overall, you know, we're seeing the team, they go down a goal, they manage to pull out that win, you know, so I think that to me has been one of the most enjoyable things, you know, watching the team as a whole to see that resilience come back to them, that you know, they don't drop their heads, they don't, you know, they figure out a way to get it across the line. And you know, and even if we don't end up, you know, obviously, you know, winning anything, well, I certainly want us to win something this season, but But I think there's some pride to be taken in the fact that mindset has sort of reset itself and come back around, be it, changes in leadership, within the team or whatever, maybe it's just it's probably not any one thing, but a combination of things. So to me, that has been a welcome change. We talked, I think, toward the end of last season, or probably even, who knows, we've talked previously about how it just got to almost be a chore to watch some of the games last season. And that's not necessarily the case now. I know I messaged you over the weekend. I was at a dance thing with Mary Kristen, and I was going to have the opportunity to go watch the Arsenal match on Sunday, but I was tired, and I was like, gosh, do I want to make the effort? But I did, and I'm certainly glad I did. So it's nice having the effort and watching the games pay off, I guess, if you will. As far as individuals, it's lovely seeing Curtis just really step up to the forefront. And I feel like, the potential that many have seen in him the last couple seasons that he just hasn't been able to tap into, for whatever reason, be it injuries or just not being selected or whatever. He's kind of pushed himself to one of the preferred people for the midfield. And it's just nice to see, it's just very nice to see that, he has not, he hasn't given up. He's continued to fight for his spot and very much feels like he's secured it. So that's a good thing. I like seeing Joe Gomez. I mean, in some ways, I almost feel like he's a strong candidate for player of the season, certainly for the first half of the season, just because he's played everywhere. He has played games at center back. He's played games at right back. He's played games at left back. And, he's just stepping up and doing the job that is needed from him. And, and it's nice to see because, of course, he's had, that last major injury of his was a really rough one. And it took him a long time to recover. So that's good to see as well. And then as always, I'm happy to see my fourth child, Harvey Elliott, do well too.
Yeah, I mean, I knew there was going to be a mention for the little medieval haircut man, and it's great to see him get this opportunity now as well. I felt a little bit sorry for him in the most recent outing where he got his opportunity to play in the Mo position, and it just didn't quite work out as well. But to be fair, you could say that about the team in general. Right. And I saw Curtis talk about the game changers coming on, and it's great. I love that guy. There's something about. I mean, obviously it's the Scouse accent, but it's not even that. There's something about but how do I put it? The cadence of how he talks, or something that is just. I love to hear him talk. Well, I know a couple of people from Toxteth, and it's not the Toxteth version of Scouts that he's got. It's not just that. It is absolutely that, but it's not just that. There's something very unique about Curtis' speech patterns as well, and the fact that he has this kind of laid-back, confident personality as well. But, a little honorary mention here as well, lads, and this is just a kind of purely by the by. This is not. This is one of those, what do you call them? Intangibles. I think Cody Gakpo might be a great lad, I think as I watch him in interviews and as I watch him on the field and his interactions with players, and he's always very quick to big up other people, to indicate how well others have done, and it's lovely then to see him get his flowers every so often. I mean, that goal, Lisa Marie, that finish in the most recent game, that's incredible work.
I'm glad you mentioned him because now I feel a little bad about forgetting him. He does seem like just a nice guy. I mean, there was that kind of longer interview with him back, I don't know, probably maybe about 2 months ago now. We're just listening to him talk. He just seems very thoughtful and introspective, just a nice guy, in addition, just kind of low key, I don't know. I don't even know how to very well just articulate it, but there is just something very, very likable about him as a person, as much as a player.
Yeah, somebody said as they watched Curtis and himself being interviewed afterwards that this is the kind of thing, like, some people like to project their own ideas onto the team, and why not? I mean, have your fun with it whatever way you want. And they were delighted at the concept of the two lads as best friends. It was making them smile a little bit. And again, I'm all for that kind of stuff. Obviously, at the end of the day, we're all about the hard and fast facts and stats and getting our trophies in the cabinet. But if you got to enjoy this experience of Liverpool under Klopp, because I've come to the conclusion that is very much where we're at with it. I don't know if you guys agree with me. And by the way, don't worry, Cam, I'm coming straight back to you with that question. And Lisa Marie, I want something from you on it as well. So 3 trophies versus a league title. That's where we're going in a second. But I want to throw this out to you first. The Liverpool under Klopp experience has been a fucking emotional roller coaster. Yes, of course, there has been a huge trend upwards, and he has got us competing at the top end of the table, and he's got us competing for European Cup finals. That is indisputable, but we've had an awful lot of heartbreak in terms of losing big games, losing titles, losing Champions League finals, losing other finals, Europa League final and a League Cup final, missing out on leagues by the narrowest of margins against the side who we are unfairly pitted against in many ways. And it's struck me that I've been indignant all the time, saying I don't give a shit about any of that. I just want trophies. At the end of the day, I want trophies. But I don't really, do I? Because we all are enjoying this experience, and we have to kind of enjoy it. This is fun, whether you like it or not. This is Klopp's Liverpool has been tremendous fun and a very emotional experience to be a part of. It's very much top down with him. That's his personality, whether it's going to fans in the early days after a draw with Stoke or whatever it is, whether it's the fist bumps to the fans, whether it's the emotional appeals in the media every so often. Or the haranguing officials, whatever it is, people project onto Kloppo, and his personality comes out through the team. That's just a fact. The dynamic trio of Mo and Bobby and Sadio, that era Liverpool will never be forgotten, and that's very much, Klopp legacy stuff. But there has been downside too. I'm wondering, on the whole, and this may be first world problems, I'll just bounce the question off you first, Cam. Do you see where I'm coming from with the whole, gutted at the amount of things that we've left behind us, titles and medals left on the table? But I've just sort of slowly come to the realization that just may be the way things are. And, you just literally have to enjoy the ride because it's so much fun for most of the time. Does that make sense to you?
Sort of, yeah. Let me get this right. So what you're saying is, because of what we had previously with the phenomenal front three, it's like we lost that and now it's sort of coming back again. No. What
I mean is the entirety of the Klopp era has been a gradual trend upwards, where Liverpool are one of the top clubs again, unquestionably, across the continent, definitely domestically.
Yeah.
In the running for everything, and that's the lovely boost. I have no truck with the real kind of, I'm just here for the day out, and trust in Klopp, that blind faith stuff, and never question anything. Or like, if you say that you'd like to have won the league title when we lost it by a point, in some way you're being a fan or acting in bad faith. I think that's just horseshit, and I think that's the type of person who just needs to be, I don't know, projecting positivity as some sort of a virtue signal all the time. That's nonsense to me. And so I can openly say to you, I'm very frustrated by the fact that, Jesus, this could have been the most glorious era ever in terms of trophies won. And slowly but surely, I think I'm beginning to learn that this time under Klopp is about the emotional drama. and there will be highs. And you gotta savor those, because there's also going to be lows. I'm not sure whether we're building into a new era where this is Liverpool 2.0, or what's going to come of this. I hope it is, Cam. I hope it's going to be more successful than the first iteration. But I suppose what I'm saying to you is it seems to be something we're just going to have to accept, because it's been the reality so far that even with these untouchable frontline players and our wonderful spine through the team, we're still leaving titles and stuff like that on the table because we're up against such mighty opposition, and it just feels like we're sort of fated to be stuck in this constant emotional drama. Do you know what I mean? So if that's the case, you have to enjoy the highs. You have to.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, you enjoy every game as it comes, because you know it's going to be a fantastic experience, and we're just fortunate, and we have to be grateful that we have Klopp, and he's producing again after what we went through over the last 2 seasons. I mean, was it when did we lose? What year was it? Champions League final Paris that we lost to Real Madrid. That was 2 seasons ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, 2020. Yeah.
Yeah, and that could have been the ultimate season ever in football. We were that close to winning everything possible, and then we had last season, which was like a big wake-up call as to how bad it can really, really be, even under Klopp, because things had gone, every player just felt like it had gone off the cliff, and they've not even know were they looking over the edge. They'd stepped off it and they were falling down, and that was it. And to have this again, and it's building up and it's building up and it's building up and it's building up, and the anticipation and the excitement of what is coming, it's something to really, really look forward to. And I can't wait. I just like I say, it goes back to the original question of the half-term report as such. Where we're at, and we're so far ahead of what we thought, or where we thought we were going to be. That sort of makes you think, actually, what could we achieve now?
Yeah.
And you're thinking, you think, let's just say this. I think we're going to get top 4. Yeah, I think I confidently say we're going to get top 4, and we're going to be in Champions League next season. And I just think this team next season, after they've gelled for a season, oh my God, that's scary. What we're going to do next season? Forget this season. Just imagine what we're going to do next season with these players. 1 year better. I mean, one player we haven't mentioned who's been out of this world this season is Trent. What that kid is doing, wherever he is playing, I get it. He's not the greatest defender, blah, blah, whatever nonsense. But what he's giving that team, he's the DLP, isn't he? He's phenomenal, and he's given us so much, and he's got players around him who, it's not just the front three who are moving for him, it's the midfield who are moving for him as well, in a way that is letting him showcase his talents even more. And I just think I'll put money on it now. I think we'll win Champions League next season. Forget this season. We're not in it, So, but I think next season, I just think this team's going to go up another level. And then if we go up that level, and you look at it, this season we've lost 2 games, or is it 3 games? We've lost one was it one in the Europa League we lost? We lost 2 in the Europa League, and we lost against Spurs. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, lost against Spurs. So to be, it's mouthwatering, isn't it?
It genuinely is. I think that's the thing about it. The potential is huge. And that's without the addition that everybody seems to think we need to make, including myself. Even without that addition now, you, as you say, it makes your mind boggle when you see what Darwin Núñez is doing in terms of productivity at the sharp end. And you think, what will happen if goalkeepers stop making worldy saves and the bar and post actually work with him for a change? That kid's going to be terrifying to every fucker in the league. And like you say, Trent's low-key been absolutely wonderful with some of the moments of the season for us already. And I was looking back there today. That guy, on his Champions League debut, I think it was against Bayer Leverkusen, on his Champions League debut, he was absolutely outrageously good, strolling around the place, pushing passes forward, dinking little balls, steps up to a free kick and buries it. And he's 18. So we need this is what I'm talking about. And again, holding off on the discussion of what's attainable this season for a second, I want to bounce it back to you, Lisa Marie, because this is what I was driving at, and I don't want it to sound sort of airy fairy nonsense, because I'm not like that. That the main thing for me is let's make sure we get fucking trophies in that cabinet, because that's what makes me smile more than anything else. I love a bit of club fan media and the lads messing about, and I'm all for fist bumps to the cop. Love all that stuff. Gets me right in my emotional feels. Of course it does. But at the end of the day, the thing I take most pride in, because I've been supporting this club for so long, is how many trophies have we got? Let's measure. Get your medals out was the phrase that people used to say back in the day. And that's what I'm all about. But it does feel, Lisa Marie, doesn't it, that we might just by dint of circumstance, the fact that we've come across these petrol-funded bullies at the time that we have, we may just have to sort of have a certain level of acceptance around that. Because you look around the teams now, I think we've got Arsenal's cards marked. Spurs don't know how to live with us. United can't live with us. Newcastle are not going to be able to live with us for a while. And it's always just that other lot. And you just go, fuck. If it wasn't with them, that cabinet would be bursting. And it just makes you feel, okay, it's not going to change. That situation's not going to change. So we probably have to embrace the joy when we can get it. And it feels at the moment that most games we're really looking forward to, doesn't it? Because there's always something, whether it's, oh Jesus, we're up against it today, or Christ, we've got a goal down. But the games have a level of enjoyment to them and excitement to them that's I don't know, it's worth supporting the team for that alone.
Hello, I'm here to annoy you. I'm here to annoy you into listening to more of me and more of others on EPL Index. We don't just have the Anfield Index stuff. We've got EPL Index as well, which covers the entirety of the Premier League. And we have 3 podcasts and a whole bunch of really good writing on EPLindex.com. The podcasts are my own Two-Footed podcast, which is every day at 4 p.m, Monday through Friday, covering the whole league. We have A Tad Predictable, hosted by Tadiwa. You know Tadiwa, he does Anfield Index. He presents A Tad Predictable before every Premier League match week. And then Kevin DeVries and his crew on the EPL Roundtable, they're every week after the Premier League match week. So make sure you listen to everything we're doing on EPL Index and follow us there on Twitter at EPL Index. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Oh, 100%. I mean, all those things. And something popped up on my Twitter feed or whatever earlier today that it was a year ago today that we had that horrible 3-0 loss to Brighton that, was kind of like possibly the low point of last season, or right in the middle of all of that. And it was just like, wow, just like what you said to Cam at the very, at the beginning of this discussion was, we've exceeded already what we thought this season was going to be. This was supposed to be the rebuild season and, get everybody sort of, the new players acclimated and get everything kind of, lined out to be able to really go for, let's just make top 4 so that we can get back to the Champions League and really, make a true go at it for next season. And it almost scares me a little bit how it's all seeming to fall on the right side for us. We talked about superstitions a couple episodes ago, didn't we? So yeah, I think it is enjoyable again. It's enjoyable again, not just, as you said, the things that surround the team, the media stuff, etc. It's enjoyable to watch them play. It's nice to see how, you've got different players, coming together and, and connecting on the field, those little triangles and all those little things, and seeing that evolution as, this Klopp 2.0 team sort of develops. It's enjoyable to watch. I mean, that's not to say you don't get frustrated at, this, that, and the other, but overall, it's just, I look forward to sitting down and watching the games again. And, it doesn't, it's like, and even Darwin and his misses, bless his heart, don't really bother me so much because he's trying, and I mean, it's like, certainly one of these has got to quit hitting the crossbar, because some of them are, I think Dave brought it up. I don't know if it was on Raw after the Arsenal game or one of his daily Reds or something this week, that, we kind of forget that, while we have the best goalkeeper in the world, other teams have good goalkeepers too. And, they're going to save things. It's not that they're just going to, it's not because our player isn't getting a shot on target that it's not going in. It's sometimes, these goalkeepers, be it for, Arsenal or Fulham or whomever, maybe not Arsenal, but Fulham, they're going to save these shots. I mean, Mo or Darwin or Luis Diaz or whatever, they may be doing everything right. But that keeper's, that's their job. They're going to save that shot. So I think it's just nice to see the pieces of what we're building just continue to kind of line up and not in just one way, like we've just got to play this way. We're, seeing the, you can bring players on like we did Sunday and it changed things up, you shift and whatever. And okay, that's what's going to work today against this opposition. And let's take it forward and get the win. So, all the things, it's the options that we have. And while granted, injuries right now are limiting some of those options, and the academy kids coming up, the Bobby Clarks and the, Connor Bradley and some of these young players that are, they're kind of getting an opportunity. It's nice to see the potential there. It may only be for another couple weeks as we start getting players back, but that's the future, hopefully, that we're watching play right now, too.
Yeah, it feels like things are working for the most part, and that the adversity has been all manageable. Because I'll put it out there. I think if you were to just lay down the sheer stats in terms of the injuries to key players this season, I think most people would have said, well, that's the season fucked. If you had told people in advance, this guy's going to be injured for this period from here to here, this guy's going to be injured from this period from here to here, and you had shown them those kind of stats, I think most people would have said, well, how are we supposed to put anything together? And yet it would appear that the team is able to dig deep into resources. You mentioned Connor Bradley, who was, I think, the story of the most recent game. Absolutely. He's incredible. It's like wiry kind of young kid with this great ability and super attitude. And of course, like all kids breaking into a team, it may well be patchy, but he's building up those hours, and Bobby Clark looks exciting as well. There's so much. We all saw Owen Beck getting his ear chewed off by Clappo on the bench, looking like he had no idea what to do with himself. Tremendous stuff. I love all that. That's all these guys are going to have their say. Hopefully not too much of a say, because yeah.
You know what that reminded me of? You know that little video clip of the guy talking to the girl in the nightclub, and he's completely wrecked.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. And she's got this like barely tolerating him expression. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Wasn't there an equivalent with who's the ham that plays for the Manx at centre half, Harry Maguire? Was there an actual Harry Maguire one where he was actually in it? An equivalent of some girl like basically almost rolling her eyes as he's talking crap in the background. I feel like there's something out there. There was a Maguire meme too, but yeah, it very much echoes of that. Look, seeing as you've come in, I think we might as well get this conversation started, because this could either be very short or last us for the remainder of the show. It's an interesting question. We're talking about what can be achieved now, and look. A glance at your chosen news feed will tell you that there is real danger of a global sort of catastrophe and conflict and war and stuff like that. So it doesn't do to be too long term here in your thoughts about Klopp 2.0. Let's enjoy what we can. What's achievable now? Live in the now, as Garth says in Wayne's World. And if we're going to live in the now, what can we achieve in this campaign, and what would you consider success? So I floated this one out to you to let you mull over a little bit, Cam. I'll come back to you, Lisa Marie, in a second on it. So it's a straight choice. I don't want any other combinations, because you're not doing that. This is the point of this question is the power of 3 trophies versus the fucking power of the league. And so if you had said that to me, I'll just set it up. If you had said that to me, I'd say, well, it's a no contest. You want to win the league, that's it. And then I felt like, have I turned into Roy Keane? What's wrong with me? 3 trophies is a lot of joy. And it's pushes us way ahead then of our Manc rivals in terms of trophy haul overall, for what that matters. But then the league, it's a big one, and it's been wrecking my head since I thought of it. So I just wanted to wreck your head as well. Where do you land with it?
I mean, like you say, 3 trophies is a phenomenal achievement in any season. To do that, it's you never ever say no to that. And as a football club, we exist to win trophies. That's our primary objective, is to win trophies. Having said that, the league is the bread and butter. The league always has to be the number one priority. And if you had said Champions League and the other 2 trophies, wasn't the Europa League, then I may have swayed the other way. Has to be the league, because to have won the league from where we were last season, and nobody gave us a hope in hell of doing that, and let's be honest, we, in our wildest dreams couldn't have imagined saying, we'll be challenging to, forget winning it, let alone challenging for the league. It was, we thought maybe third at a push. We have to recognise how good Arsenal were last season compared to us. We have to recognise Man City are phenomenal. Who would have said Villa would have been where they are this season? But, you looked at what Chelsea spent, you thought, wow, they spent 500 billion on one player and 200 billion on another player, and they're going to be up there. United, you would have thought, would still be pushing top 4. You would have thought Tottenham were pushing top 4. I mean, it's not a top 6 anymore. It's like a top 10 almost, isn't it? It feels like. And I just think to win the league is it just puts everybody's nose out of joint. Winning that treble, it doesn't upset anybody. Yeah.
I love your motivation here. You just want to annoy people.
It fucks everybody off. It truly does. We win the treble. Who gives a fuck? Man City won 5 trophies last season. Who gives a fuck? Or they won 3 trophies last season. They won 2 already this season in the Super Cup and the World Club Championship. I didn't even know the World Club Championship was on.
Right.
How relevant it was. That's how relevant it was because Man City were in it. Yeah?
Yeah.
If we win the league, it fucks everybody off. What is more glorious? Imagine the fucking celebrations we will have in Liverpool. Yeah? Come May. Everybody's going to be there. Trev, you're definitely going to be there. Lisa Marie, we'll get you there somehow. Yeah? We're going to be there. We're going to party like it was 1999, man. There you go.
I think I'm getting very hard to argue with that, and it was my default setting as well. But again, and this is why I thought it might split a couple of ways here. I'm not sure, but Lisa Marie, as a fellow #joy exponent, I know that you will have to weigh this up because, you know, you saw recently there the most recent game you got to watch with a group and enjoy that kind of fan experience, that shared experience of delighting in your team doing a win. And so imagine not 1, not 2, but 3 trophy lifts. And the reason I say it is, look, we are favourites to win the League Cup. That's just it. Like I say to all Man City fans when they start crying about injuries, you're favourites, you've got every advantage in the world. Wear it, own it. So we have to own the fact that we're favourites to win that trophy. We, given the draw in the FA Cup now, a couple of the others have been drawn against each other, we've got to have a good chance in that as well. And if you look at the potential opposition, there's some very good teams left in the Europa League. But again, you'd have to think that if we play to our potential, which is all we can think about, we have to think about the Reds being at their very best. We are favourites for that as well. So it's not an outrageous thing to say. It's a good team doing what a good team should do in this situation. And you could see how perhaps if we did focus on that and we got a little bit further in the FA Cup, we got a little bit further in the European competition, that maybe then the league might start to creak, the league form might start to creak a bit. These are all things that could happen. So it is a realistic target. I know it sounds daft, but it's a realistic target for the Reds to say, Jesus Christ, we could have 3 cups in the cupboard by the end of this year. No one wants to talk about quads. So the reason I did it with this way was I wanted to have a bit of opposition in your thoughts. So the opposition to that is, or none of those, but the league win. And we know what that means in terms of status, and Cam's outlined it very clearly there, what it would mean to him. Cam being Cam is already thinking about how he can get up people's noses as well, which is tremendous. Tell me where you land on that. If it's a straight binary choice, where do you go?
All right, I have changed my mind 3 times.
I knew you would.
I mean, damn it, Sophie's Choice. Yeah. I mean, I think I lean a little bit more toward, when it's all said and done, the three. Although I mean, winning the league is so tempting, and I have a little bit of Cam in me that I'm been working very closely with this one architect on this project for close to a year now, and he is a Man City fan. And so we've been kind of back and forth. We usually have a weekly meeting on Tuesdays. And so, it's been kind of prime, like, and especially, last spring when, or February or so, when things were not looking great, he'd be like, whoo, that was a pretty, anyway. So I have to hold my hand up. And this week, when we had our meeting, he's like, so Lisa Marie, how are you doing today? I go, I'm top of the league, Brian. How are you? So, and he's like, nice one. So I have to say I would take great pleasure in winning the league. But I think I do. I think when it's all said and done, it just tips just that little bit more toward the 3 trophies.
Yeah, and the reason being the accumulation of joy. Yes. Yeah,
I think so. And in the way those competitions are a little bit spread out, it wouldn't be like bam all in one week. We'd have the League Cup, like end of February or so, and the other two would run fairly close together. But I like the fact that I think winning the League Cup will push momentum to the team, for the other two, like we kind of saw, in 21, 22. So yeah, but I think just kind of that accumulation of joy and being able to, we would still have a little bit over City. Not the fact, granted they won the league plus the Champions League, which, so when you add it up, but it's like, we got a trouble, anyway. So it's very, very tight, but I think the 3 trophies just barely tips.
I don't need a VPN. I've got nothing to hide. This is what I used to tell myself before I hooked up with LibertyShield.com. Not only is my home internet now fully encrypted, but I can now access all the websites I want, whenever I want, and do so from absolutely anywhere. As a Liverpool fan, I love to know I can now watch every match, regardless of whether it's on UK TV or not. My Liberty Shield VPN makes sure nothing is blocked and guarantees me super fast streaming speed throughout that match. You can get connected right now with their software package, which includes a 48-hour no-obligation free trial and instant access to their apps for Apple, Android, Fire TV, PC, Mac and Android TV. Or go a step further like I have and get one of their pre-configured VPN routers. These small but powerful devices allow you to easily connect every device in your home to VPN, making it the perfect solution for smart TVs, Mac boxes and games consoles. Visit LibertyShield.com today and use coupon code AIVPN25 to get 25% off at checkout.
It is very tight for many reasons, and I think the one little stat that's killing me more than any other stat, and it's the thing that's actually going to push my choice here over the edge, is number 20, because it grinds my gears that United have one more title than us. It grinds my gears. It really does. Every time I think of it, it makes me die a little inside. So the idea of getting back on par is, and again, I think that's indicative of my motivation there. I have to be honest. That's the thing that would swing it for me. Whereas if we can't, for some reason, win the league, if City put on a run that's just too powerful, or we succumb to more injuries or the current crop of injuries, whatever it happens to be, I really do hope that we can win that cup treble. The only thing that comes back into my mind, this is with the kind of more cynical outlook that Cam was expressing earlier on, you could see it being dismissed as Liverpool a cup team, or it's not a real treble or something like that, which would kind of stick in the craw. But at the end of the day, that is the kind of bitterness that comes from teams who haven't won anything. So you would happily endure those kind of comments that from Evertonians and the like, because God love them, they need to say something, I guess. So yeah, it's a difficult one for me. I think that little stat at the end is the one that does it for me. That it's the idea of at least being back on a level. When Alec Ferguson took over at United, he famously wanted to knock Liverpool off their fucking perch. Well, the bastard succeeded. So I would love Kloppo to be the one who knocks United off theirs in terms of league title wins. That would be, I think, a tremendous legacy for him if he could get 20 and then 21 before he goes. I think I could retire from football and go and take up, I don't know, ghost hunting or something. You know.
I was going to say gardening.
It's got to be something to do with scary shit. I'm lads. At some stage, I need to let you into the inner workings of my mind over the last year. Every time I'm not thinking about football or my family, I've got some seriously dark concepts floating around in there. There's definitely the makings of either a show or a book in it, and I can't wait to do one or the other when life allows it soon.
I think you should do a conspiracy theory podcast.
There's too many of them.
Don't encourage him.
There's too many of them. Although mine would be the best. Mine would be the best, obviously. Yes.
That thing.
I would take umbrage with you calling me a conspiracy theorist, except what it turns out is that conspiracy theorists as a group are looking around them going, fucking told you, for the last 5 years. So I will happily take that tinfoil hat and shine it up further. We should start wrapping it up, because I want to let people know that over the next couple of weeks we're going to have some new voices on the show. Not necessarily new to you as Anfield Index listeners. Certainly two of the voices that will be involved, if not three, hopefully, will be people you'd have heard elsewhere recently and not so recently. Three people all tapped up who are going to at least contribute to one or two shows for sure. One or two of them have made more firm commitments in terms of ongoing involvement. And a voice you haven't heard before, of the same sort of general persuasion as my own, perhaps. A little Irish lilt to it involved as well, potentially in the near future. So there's a lot of excitement ahead for us here on the show in terms of shaking it up a little bit, new voices, new perspectives. I think that's great timing heading into 2024 with 375 under our belts and 400 very, very, very attainable. So when we get to that landmark, for sure, unlike what we didn't do for 300 or 350, that will be a big one. And 25 shows is going to come around quite fast. You know, it will probably be over the course of the summer, and it will be lovely if it's a celebratory one where we can talk about some trophies. So let's hope that's the case. I should start wrapping it up. I've kept my guests long enough. We're looking at the clock now. We tried to do around an hour pretty strictly on this one if we can. And we've just gone north of it there by a minute or two. So I just want to finish by letting both of Cam and Lisa Marie say anything they want to say by way of wrap-up thoughts, whether it's something simple like something you've been watching on TV or anything at all that occurs to you, or if you've got nothing at all, maybe do give some sort of a plug to something you've been listening to recently on the channel. Whatever way you want to do it. Cam, I'll start with you. Any final flourish from yourself?
Just RIP to Franz Beckenbauer, who we lost this week. One of the footballers who, when I was growing up, his name was synonymous with being one of the greatest players in the world, alongside the likes of Pele, Johan Cruyff, Bobby Moore. You know, these were the names, very early age that I remember. So it was a sad day. Like greats leavers for pastures new as such. So yeah, R.I.P. Franz Beckenbauer.
For sure. I remember so highly was he held in the general opinion of football fans. I remember when Kenny got his 100th cap for Scotland, Beckenbauer presented it to him. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
He presented it to him on the pitch, and I remember thinking, isn't this just weird? Because I like at the time, I remember thinking several times, Kenny should have won European Footballer of the Year several times. I remember being my nose was out of joint about it, thinking this is one of the best footballers ever. This is ridiculous. But even Kenny, who I read so highly, I was saying that's cool for Kenny to be able to be on the same pitch with Beckenbauer getting his 100th cap. That's how highly rated Franz Beckenbauer was. So, yeah, a serious loss to the game. If you
look at his record, it was phenomenal.
Outrageous! Yeah, outrageous. The Kaiser is the Kaiser. There's no two ways about it. Like, if you want to hear a lovely tribute, look up the video of Jurgen last week talking about Beckenbauer. And of course, Jurgen being Jurgen, he doesn't talk about any of his the record there, or any of his incredible medals or anything like that, or he talks about what a great lad he was, which I think was classic Jurgen. So yeah, that's great.
Let me just quickly tell you what he won, just so the listeners, some of the younger listeners may not be aware. He won 2 Ballon d'Ors. He won 4 Footballer of the Years for Germany. He was a World Cup winner. He was a European champion for Germany as well. 3 European Cups with Bayern. 5 German championships. 1 equivalent FA Cup. Euro. I don't know what that one is. Sorry. 4 German Cup winners. 3 soccer bowls when it was the NASL, and an Intercontinental Cup winner. He's just won everything, hasn't he?
Just won the lot.
I don't think he played in. I don't think he played in the Europa. Possibly never ever played in the Europa. UEFA Cup and what was the other one? The Cup Winners' Cup, because they were always in the. He always played for the top teams, and they were always playing in the European Cup every year, weren't they?
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
And there was that magical era in the NASL where he was playing alongside Pele for Cosmos, which is imagine that, Wow.
Well, they won it in 77, 78, and then 80.
Yeah, and that's with the lads with their slippers on in half retirement, you know what I mean? That's incredible stuff.
A cigar while they're playing.
Yeah. Tremendous stuff. That's a very fitting tribute indeed. Lisa Marie, any final thought from yourself before we wrap it?
Well, be thinking of us here because they're predicting snow for Monday, and it freaks everybody out. So I need to get to the store today before all the milk and the bread and the eggs are gone. Just to stock up for the upcoming blizzard, if you will. So yes, it is supposed to snow Monday, but it's also supposed to be freaking cold starting tomorrow or Sunday. I mean, like -3, -4, -7 temperatures during the day and even colder at night. So it's going to be winter. We are hitting we'll get our couple of weeks of winter here in Middle Tennessee before we go to, fall, spring, and second winter, or whatever season we decide to fall in February and March.
Well, I hope you can survive it. And I love the thoughts of you getting your inner prepper on and filling that big old car of yours with, excess amounts of bottled water and toilet paper. You make sure. I want you to be the one at the supermarket. Everybody's going, what does she know?
But that's all right if I'm housebound, because it will allow me to get my Christmas tree down, which I have not done yet.
Oh my God! What you people? I can't.
Look, I spent all of last weekend at that dance convention. Okay, so hello.
Oh yeah.
I had every intention of at least taking the tree down on Sunday when I got home, but let me tell you, it did not happen. So that will be this weekend's. I will get it all tucked away. So
the 29th, that's your day. Get it.
Hey, you got at least 12 days of Christmas, Trev. 12 days of Christmas.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
For the 6th, Epiphany.
No, not for me. So we shall wrap it there. We have gone a little long, but it was. You'll understand we haven't spoken to each other for a while, and we do like to talk, as you may have noticed. Cam and Lisa Marie and I will be back with you soon. Cam's able to join us now again on a regular basis, which is fantastic. So, like I said, keeping an ear out for those new voices. It will probably mean we'll do a few shows for a while here with 4 instead of 3, which will be a nice novelty for us as well. And I can see already the potential for quizzes and the return of quiz champion Trev Downey. So I want that to... Hey, it's absolutely indisputable. It's all on record and recorded. So despite the fact that you and Kopeck may have issues, I won. It's as simple as that. And on that note...
You didn't win the last one, Trev. On that note...
Yeah, okay. Sorry, Cam. I forgot you did win one quiz once.
Yeah, and it was the quiz master.
It was a quiz that you and Kopeck had sweated and toiled over. Make sure now I'll say this and then you say that. I know how this works.
I won the Christmas quiz a couple of years ago.
You did, to be fair, you did. But they don't. My conspiracy theory hat was absolutely gleaming the last time Kopeck and Brainch got together to oust me from my proper.
If only we were that obvious.
Quiz champion Trev Downey. We'll leave it at that.
What a way to start the new year, folks. He's back.
Boy.
We'll talk to you soon. Take care.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.
Sports Social Podcast Network.
At Kroger, shopping with pickup and delivery is the same as shopping in-store. Same low prices, deals, and rewards on the same high-quality items. It's one small click for groceries, one big win for busy families everywhere. Start your cart today at Kroger.com. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
And right now, you can save when you shop your faves. Just buy 6 or more participating sale items and save 50 cents each with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.